So we're going to start the pre-clean process before we bring the dirty scope onto the CSS room. And I'm going to clean my hands. I need to put a gown on. Gloves, sorry. They told me I don't talk loud enough. And then I'm gonna put on a face shield. For this process, I get a blue chuck and a 60cc syringe. And then we have our first step solution. So I open up the chuck. So at this point, I'm going to flush some water through. Turn the water off, clamp it, detach the water from the scope. And take the water down. I can sit this to the side until I dispose of it. Then we're gonna peel open our first step solution. Inside of here, there's a blue sponge. You're gonna wring the excess out of the blue sponge, but still make sure that it's damp. Take off this portion off of the stopcock, off the scope, and then these ridges, you're gonna line your scope, and you're gonna wipe down to the distal tip one time. You're gonna repeat it 2 times, and then you're gonna repeat it a 3rd time. After the 3rd time, you're gonna look and make sure that you don't see anything, any visible debris on the scope. If the scope still seems dirty, you're gonna, once again, wipe it down. And after you wipe it down another 3 times, you'll inspect the scope again. It looks clean to you. Place the scope back on the chuck. Sit the blue sponge to the side. Now you're gonna grab your syringe. Now you have a 60cc syringe. I place my solution on the chuck. You're gonna now take the scope, place the distal tip inside of the solution, connect your syringe onto the scope. At this process, you want to draw 50 cc's of the solution through the scope. Once you have the 50 cc's, you dispose of it on the chuck. And then you repeat for another 50 cc's. Take this cap off, connect it to the scope.
You have to cap the other end.
Now take the small cap and place it on that end. And you're going to do the same process. You're going to draw up the 50 cc's of the solution. Take it off. Dispose of it on the chuck. And repeat. So now we're drawing up 100 cc's through each port. So now we have the additional 50 cc's we need. We'll dispose of it in the chuck. Need your syringe. take this cap off. Unplug it from the cysto camera. Which you can do at the beginning. So now we're going to take this scope, since it's ready and pre-cleaned, place it back into the metal container. It fits inside of, I secure my distal tip first because that's the most fragile part of the scope. And then we place the scope now I can take the distal tip back out and place this all back. So now the distal tip is not hitting against the metal container and causing any damage. All the pieces to the scope can be wiped down with the sponge and should be taken off of the scope to ensure that CSS has them disconnected when cleaning our scope. So then we take the blue sponge and we just leave it inside of the cysto case to indicate to CSS that we did complete the pre-cleaning process. Now, before sending it to CSS, we need to rip off all indicators that say that this is a clean item. So this tag will be removed. And in place of this tag, we have to place a red biohazard tag so that during transport, they will know that this is a dirty use item. Then we'll place the lid on the scope.